But at the same time, like, you almost got in there in game 2. Almost. Casito, papi, casito. It was very close. But here we go. We're getting into our fresh series and spawning. Spawning in the top left-hand corner of Persephone, we have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss himself, representing Team Liquid. It is SKillous. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the red Zerg player from South Korea, representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. We go. And if you're in the chat, you know what time it is. It is Gamba time. Predictions are open. Place your bets on who you think will claim the series. Best of luck in the chat as we get into our ZvP, into the rematch. As a reminder, it was 2 days ago, merely 2 days ago, where SKillous did 2-0 Rogue. He toured him. Toured the hell out of him. But if you remember, that was patch day, right? That was the day the patch went live. So players that were still getting accustomed to the new playstyle, still getting accustomed to the new patch, and I mean, that's still the case, right? It's still day 3 of the patch, so still working on that, of course. And we'll see if Rogue has been able to adapt, adjust, and come in with some fresh all-ins. Because I'm assuming we're going to all-in. Let's go. Now, if you weren't here yesterday, I do recommend checking out the VOD for the podcast. We did go into detail as to what the patch entails and what we feel like, or what we theorize that it's going to be, how the matchup is going to be impacted, of course. When it comes to ZvP, the big one is going to be Storm. The new Storm is going to favor defensive play very heavily. So if SKillous does go for a defensive play style where he takes his Stargate into a 3rd base, into Blink, into Storm, into a 4-base setup, and turtles up back at home, it's going to be very difficult to break. I will say that, but at the same time, there are some other maps that are better for turtling, like Tokamak, for example. There are other maps where you can turtle up a little bit easier. Here on Persephone, we'll see if he can do so. We'll see if he does decide to. Likewise, we'll see if Rogue commits to an earlier all-in. Bearing in mind that the Baneling buff, the Baneling now having extra HP, is a pretty big change, and we are expecting to see some more Baneling-based all-ins to try to break the Protoss ahead of time. When it comes to the meta of ZvP, it's already been like all in and try to kill them early on. But now with the addition of the new Baneling, or the Baneling upgrade, it does mean that Baneling-based all-ins are going to be more viable. Likewise, another change is the Spire. So we could actually try to play macro into the mid-game, throw down a hidden Spire as well, and try to embrace Mutaplay. That is possible, bearing in mind that Protoss players are going to have a harder time scouting. Now there's going to be a little bit less energy when it comes to hallucinations, so there's a higher chance that maybe you can hide your tech. Maybe. We'll see. We'll see what Rogue decides to cook up. Show us what you got. Can he cook, baby? Can he cook? For now, Link Speed is on the way. Rogue is droning. Forsake the unnatural natural. Likewise, Stargate opener out of SKillous, going for the Stargate in the main, opening up Oracle. Everything's looking normal. We do have a couple of Links slipping into the bases here. No depth for him to defend. Ooh, and Rogue, he may get some probe kills. He gets 1, 2. 2 probe kills, already a very strong start here for Rogue. The adepts are out of position, they're across the map, and SKillous gets punished. He does get punished. A better start for our Zerg player. Link Speed kicks in, takes down one of the adepts. About a 4th gas geyser, maybe an 8th gateway. Yeah, maybe. Again, it was close. Very impressive. Very impressive. As wall is wide open, Links, they flood in. Where's the Oracle? Across the map. Yeah, the Oracle's across the map, not a home to defend, which means probes are going to be going down. He busts into the main. We attempt a probe drill. Despite that, 4, 5, 6 oh my god, 7, 8 probes. GG gets called. That is game-ending damage. That should not be happening at this level of play. And with that, Rogue takes game number 1. Whew. GG, well played. When it came to this, when it came to game 1, the patch did not impact this at all. This was unfortunately. Sorry, I have to make sure I don't get into the wrong lobby. I'm dying a little bit. But unfortunately, we saw that SKillous, he did leave the door wide open. He moved out with the Adept. He got punished for it. Likewise, he moved out with the Oracle as well. Also got punished for it as the wall was wide open. He did not see the Ling move out. He did not see the Ling counterattacks. Was caught with his pants down. The pants were down. GG, well played. And with that, we're now getting into game number 2. Oh, there's a rift, Pappy. There's a rift. There's a rift in time and space next to Neptune, or whatever this is. Ah, no. In the Capula sector. It's the void, Pappy. I'll fix it up after, once we switch scenes. Really, the deep cut is Raynor's in the rift. True, he's he's been lost in the rift for quite some time. That's why he's not a part of the tournament. Ah, he's in the rift. As spawning in the bottom right hand corner of Magnatha, we have the blue Protoss player. Down in the series, we'll see if we can bounce back and make a series out of this. For Team Liquid, it is SKillous. And spawning in the top left hand corner, we have as opponent, we have the red Zerg player. The red Zerg player himself representing Team Falcons, it is Rogue. Here we go. See this at the hero wall. Oh no. Unironically true. Not like this. The wall that is just not a wall. Ah. So now we're just calming things down. I would imagine that coming into game number 2 here, SKillous is going to be a lot more careful with his approach when it comes to either scouting or just playing safe, and he might just even keep his adepts back at home, keep the first Oracle back at home as well. We'll see how SKillous does adapt after what happened in game 1. Oh, meanwhile, a very greedy build here at a Rogue. Do you see what I see? Gas into hatch, into a very late spawning pool. Okay, now a couple of things here. One, latelings. Latelings, more importantly, late queen production. This is a very late spawning pool. Insane greed out of Rogue. Does he get away with it, though? Does he get away with it? I mean, the problem is that, as something I just mentioned, SKillous, I'm sure after game 1, is more prone to being more defensive, to being more careful, and to playing safely, instead of being aggressive and attempting to punish his opponents. So, we'll see if SKillous does move out. For now, the Adept is rallied, thankfully. It is rallied across the map. But no probe scouts. Ooh, no probe scout out of SKillous. So, SKillous, you'll have a late realization as to what's been happening. Again, the hatchery's almost done. Hatchery is almost complete. Now going for Stargates. That does move out. And the queens are on the way. Link production has begun as well. So far, Rogue has gotten away with his greed. So far. Adept does shade in. Gets one. One drone goes down. Does head towards the main base and does not quite find much damage here. Shades away. SKillous head towards the third. Gets eyes on the third base, gets eyes on the queen. Might be able to piece together what's been going on, potentially. Fighting more damage, much better damage this time. You're getting 3, can we get 4? Oh, ooh, not quite, but 3 drone kills, not bad. Does get 3 more workers, the link speed is on the way. We can see Rogue does pull out of gas. But remember, link speed is still on the way, so the skills he can very safely expand, and does have a wall this time. Let's go. The wall is up. Gets another 3, gets another 4 drone kills. The Oracle does get away. Lings, they attempt to counterattack, but again, back at home, this time there is a full wall. Going for his Twilight Council, Gateway Explosion. Interesting. Is this Twilight Council early enough? It looks like a standard timing here, but do you see what I see? No Forge. Without a Forge, this could be Glaives. We could go into Glaives, or we can go into early +1 Blink. I say Blink. Early Blink with delay +1. There it is. Early Blink is on the way, delay +1. Oh, we gotta make our mind. What's the plan? we gotta make it up, Happy. So, made Blink, cancelled, got Glaives, cancelled again, going back into Blink. Gotta figure out what we're doing. And the Overlord does get eyes in the main, does confirm the lack of Forge. Now, the goal of early Blink is typically to break the 4th base, to break the 4th and to break the Zerg and to cripple them early on. And that will work if Rogue were to drone and be greedy, but for now, he is making a massive swell of Lings. We have the Baneling Nest on the way as well. Rogue is being active. And we'll see what SKillous can get done. As they do get in, they get on top of the Stalkers. But no kills. Nice defense here by SKillous. Very nice. I'm afraid to look, that was how many? That was 20 Lings being thrown away for 2 probes. So much better engage. Making all these Lings, I was hoping that Rogue would just be active to surround any kind of move out, but that was a big waste of Lings. And now he has to rebuild. He has to rebuild. The drawing count is still quite low. He has not taken his gases. Only 2. No lair. This is all hatch tech, by the way. Oh, it just caught me off guard. We're 6 minutes in, no lair whatsoever. Okay, I mean, again, SKillous is aggressive, he's committed, and Rogue has to survive this. But Rogue, he will be outscaled. Going for a massive counterattack. Going for a bust even. Okay. I mean, SKillous is out of position. The wall is open. Yeah, it does bust in. Very quick warp in here. Clutch move out of SKillous. He holds the defense. There's one Baneling left. Blinks in. Baneling goes down. And SKillous, he's holding. Yeah, SKillous, he is holding on. Doesn't get a surround. Blink is almost ready. Does blink away. And Rogue is falling behind. Rogue, he's falling behind. Remember, there's no lair. This is the lair. It's just now starting. 7 minutes. The 7-minute lair. Ay, ay, ay. Which means we're stuck on Ling Bane. We're stuck on Ling Bane. We're stuck on +1 upgrades as well. They're Rogue. Now, SKillous is not aware, right? He doesn't really know how far ahead he is tech-wise, so he's being a little bit tentative. What he could do here is just chill, get into Storm, and then push and kill. He doesn't have to be aggressive like this, but he's finding damage regardless. As long as he has the Oracles, he should be safe. And he should be applying more pressure here. Like this, there's no way that we can defend the space. The expansion is so exposed. We'll see how the armies engage. Wings are spotted. Lings are coming from behind. That was a massive blink. He does go for the blink, does go for the hatchery. Switches to Zerglings. Stasis goes off, one Oracle goes down, and we have to recall. Yeah, at this point he has to recall. Yeah, blinking forward into the expansion was not quite necessary here. SKillous bleeds out a lot of Stalkers, but he still has that Storm timing, right? Like, Storm is still a big timing here for SKillous. And SKillous, even though he lost a little Stalkers a little bit needlessly, and even though he didn't really get much value for them, he's still in a better position. SKillous is still looking solid. That's going to be 6 Templar warping in. Storm is almost ready. And it's going to be 1-1 Ling Bane here. Not even Ling Bane, 1-1 Lings here to defend. Baneling's speed is also delayed because of the delayed lair. Banelings are morphing in. We need that speed. Borrow's on the way. We can get creative, true. There's a world where we can borrow Banelings and then High Templar go over the mines and then you can explode. Like, there's a world, there's a chance. But it is not going to be easy. Here comes a Warp Prism, and here comes a push. So SKillous is just waiting for his Warp Prism, then he can move out. Storm is ready. High Templar, they've gathered energy. They've got at least 1 Storm each. There's a 7 Templar in total. Sorry, 5. So 5 Templar. Each with at least 1 Storm. Here comes a Prism. Can always juggle back. And for now, mainly a zoning Storm. Ooh, they will connect. Get massive connections. Banelings get in. They do get in, and they're going for the High Templar. Very nice save. Nice pickup. Banelings, they zone. They zone. They buy a lot of time here. The last SKillous did save his High Templar, and this is what he needs, more Archons. He needs that wool, he needs that buffer. Rogue going into Ultras? Oh, okay. But bold move. Bold move out of Rogue. Okay, let's roll in. He's lay mining. Nothing running on the way. SKillous is over on the right hand side. He's not quite in position to defend. Does warp in though. Okay. Does warp in defensively. The longer this goes on, I mean, hey, Ultras are on the way. Can Rogue survive until Ultras? SKillous. He's backing off, he's building up, Immortals are now on the way, he's only going for a drop play, he's not pushing. Wow, he's not pushing. I mean, I still favor SKillous' main army, but as time goes on, Rogue is going to have the opportunity to recover. He's getting into a better army. I say better, it's still not quite there yet, but now working on kindness plating. He still only has +1 carapace. Like, the upgrades are still very lacking because of the early game. Like, bear that in mind. Like, Rogue was very... Oh, that's a kill! Jesus. That's a kill, not a cancel. That should not have happened. Okay. That's the Rogue. Kills the base. SKillous still stuck at home. SKillous is building up his Immortal count. Now, are we going to be able to get into a game state where we can see Immortal versus Ultras with Microbial Shroud? Personally, that's something that I have not seen yet in the new patch, and I want to, but I don't think we're getting there. Heads towards the mineral line. Probes do not pull away. Oh, okay, they pull away just in time. It's going to be 9 probe kills. Again, there's a late reaction out of SKillous. Letting a burrow in between the bases. And here comes the push. SKillous is maxed. Now, how many Ultras? 2. And not enough. 2. We have soon to be 3 Ultras with +1 carapace. They have kindness plating, which does help. Oh, Lings, they do bust in. Speaking of, we have more Lings on the way. Rogue is depowered. Comes in for the attempted surround. And SKillous is pushing. And again, these storms need to connect. Bailey's going to be rolling in. Show us the storms. Lands 1. Just the 1. Takes out all the takes out all the Ultras. And again, remember, there's only +1 carapace. The Ultras, they just melt. The Ultras go down. Bailey's doing what they can. They trade against the gateway units, but GG gets called. There's no stopping this. And SKillous, he does tie the series 1-1. Whew, GG. GG, well played. Again, SKillous took a massive lead for the majority of this game. I was impressed that Rogue, he was able to recover in a sense. He got up to a better economy, he got up to Hive Tech. But you saw that because of how brutal the first half of the game was, he was still far behind when it came to the quality of the army itself, right? He still only had +1 carapace, only +1, so again, the Ultras that much weaker. Likewise, there were only 3 Ultras, just because, again, he had really shaky early to mid-game, getting into that kind of game state, didn't have the greatest economy to actually make use of, to actually build up a higher Ultra count. He had no Microbial Shroud, he had no Infestors. It was a really odd game out of Rogue, to be honest. Like, to stay on Hatch Tech for that long was crazy. It was crazy. It did seem like he was maybe expecting... I mean, I say expecting more aggression early on. Like, he himself was quite aggressive with his Lings, and it wasn't quite worth it. He lost a lot of Lings early on. GG. GG, well played. With that, we're getting into the Ace match. Let's go. I see in the chat, are these games live on the new patch? I mean, the games are live, and the patch is live, so it's all in the new patch. I don't think there's a way to play not on the new patch because it's the live version of the game. The PTR kind of era has concluded. It only lasted like less than 2 weeks, so the patch is live. Bearing in mind that this patch is different from the PTR, it is different. So bear that in mind. And here we go, spawning in the top right-hand corner of ley lines. We have the blue Protoss player, the blue Protoss representing Team Liquid, being forced into, or forcing the Ace match. It is SKillous. And spawning in the bottom left-hand corner, we have his opponent. We have the red Zerg player, the red Zerg player himself, representing Team Falcons. It is Rogue. Here we go. A lot of good decisions by SKillous. Well, SKillous, he just had a stronger early game. He was able to deal a lot of economic damage. Rogue, he fell behind tech-wise. SKillous did make some missteps when it came to his Stalker aggression, if you remember. Like his blink into the 4th base, where he didn't kill the base, where he lost a lot of Stalkers. That was the beginning of the comeback for Rogue, but it still wasn't quite enough. It still wasn't enough to recover. And thankfully, after that loss, after losing those Stalkers, SKillous, he just backed off, he stayed at home, and he just maxed out, right? He maxed out with Archons, with Storm, with Immortals. And now we have a standard opener, Hatch, Gas, Pool. So standard opener out of Rogue. We're done with any crazy shenanigans that we saw in the last game. And we'll see how our players, we'll see how Rogue will adjust. In theory, you can make a mod. Yes. In theory, you could make a mod that like reverts all the changes. That is true. Check our calendar. As now we are settling in, and so far we have our standard opener Stargate out of SKillous into a 3rd base. We'll see if SKillous once again goes into early blink, or if he goes into glaives, or if he goes into a standard build instead. We shall see. Two adepts. Two adepts taking one-shot workers. This time Rogue is not across the map. Not able to punish. It was nice that we were able to see at least the new Baneling. We made reference to it at the start of the series, but with the Baneling change, it does mean that more Baneling heavy play in the mid game is more viable against Protoss, as they have a little more survivability and can make it through storms and collapse onto High Templar. Oh my god, double forge? Is that intentional? Okay. Okay. All right, let's go. Show us what you got, baby. Show us what you got. Double forge, double upgrades. This typically leads into charge, into a Twilight Council, into charge, into a strong kind of mid-game setup. Oh, that's not a Twilight Council. Are we going 1-1 into Colossus? No shot. We'll keep an eye on it. But interesting setup. There we go. 1-1 upgrades on the way. Again, yeah, with armor, we should be prioritizing charge lots behind this eventually. Are we going Robo, Twilight Council, Temple Archives into Archon, delayed Archon drop play? Let him cook. Let him cook, Bible. Let him cook. As here comes the Twilight Council again. Delayed Twilight Council, delayed upgrade in favor of faster 1-1. Delayed tech in favor of faster 1-1. Does this work on the new patch though? I'm just thinking, like, again, like, this is gonna be a very strong timing, but now Baneling's more viable. In the previous match, 100%. In the previous patch, I should say. On this one, we'll see. We We shall see. Everyone gets hunted down. Charge has begun. There's the Temple Archives for Storm. I believe this should line up with Storm. The move out, I should say. As Rogue, he's going to be skipping Bailey. He's going to Roach play instead. So +1 range into a Roach Horn into Hydras. So with this Rogue, he could decide to keep droning. He can get up to 4 base saturation and try to tech up even faster than this and try to tech up in towards Hive Tech, in towards in towards Hive Tech, in towards Lurkers. That is going to be an option. Yep, there it is. Invitation bit for Hive for Lurker Tech. So Rogue is rushing into Lurkers. Meanwhile, SKillous, can he push, and will he be able to push before Lurker Tech? 1-1 upgrades are done. 2-2 is going to be on the way. Storm has begun. As I mentioned, I believe this should be lined up in such a way where we can push with Storm and we can try to break the Zerg player. It's going to be very close though. It's going to be close. There's that Lurker Den. As you mentioned, the goal for skill should be to push before Lurkers are ready. Lurker Den is on the way. Overseer does scout, does confirm, does see everything in the main. Storm is almost ready. It is a high immortal count, so even with a low amount of Lurkers, the immortal count should be able to break through. So like 3, 4, 5 Lurkers might not be enough. Here comes the Prism. The Prism is going to be the sign of the move out of the push. Chrono boost on +2. Interesting. Going to give his army a little bit more survivability. And here he comes. Just waiting for that War Prism. At the same time, 6 Lurkers morph in. Oof. Okay. Now, are 6 Lurkers going to be enough? That is the question. Is that enough? Now, these are going to be Lair Tech Lurkers. The Hive is not done. The Hive was delayed in favor of the faster Lurker Den and now the Lurkers themselves. So, delayed Hive, delayed upgrades. There we go. Prism in towards the bases. Main army through the center. Here comes SKillous. That's going to be 4 more Lurkers. That's going to be 10 in total. SKillous, he's missing that window. That window, it's closing. Lurkers are ready. Lurkers are ready. At this point, it might just be worth getting a Fleet Beacon and now taking up into Sky Toss. We'll see. I mean, the upgrades are still not quite done for the Lurkers, so there's at least that, but... Lurkers are revealed. Prism in towards the main. It's not going to get much done here. SKillous, he is gaining ground, is clearing up a lot of creep. But now there are Lurkers everywhere. Like, there's 15 Lurkers. Now, can he brute force his way through with Storm? That I'm not so sure about. I mean, the army still has a little potential for sure. Still a terrifying army. SKillous, he rotates. Lurkers out of position. Okay, they're exposed. He's doesn't quite go for it. Yeah, too many Lurkers. Lands 1 Storm. Storm does quite a lot of oh my god, does a lot of damage here. There's a recall back home. Lurker counterattack. Lings towards the natural. Zealots, they do try to get into a mineral line, and drones are going down. Getting a lurker as well. Gets one, gets two. And two lurkers go down. Gets 21. Oh my god, the Zealots. The Lunkers, they're out of position. Yeah, lurkers, they're still out of position, by the way. Zealots get 22 drone kills. They get a spore. They trade against the Lings. And it wasn't the main army. It wasn't the Storm. It wasn't the Archons. It wasn't the Immortals. I mean, it was in a sense, as it was a big distraction, right? SKillous, he distracted, and Rogue, he was wide open. Now, Rogue, he does re-drone. You can see here 97 drones, but he had to drone up quite heavily. Instead of refining his army, here comes the main push. Nidus into the main. Uh-oh. Nidus into the main base. SKillous, he does not notice. No reaction. No response. Does try to force his way in. Mass storms here on the lurkers. Gets revelation. And lurkers go down. Yeah, lurkers, they barely go down. There's two lurkers left. Oh no, these are the revelation. Uno más. It doesn't quite have it. Nidus does finish. Where are those Zealot reinforcements? Oh no, the storm doing friendly. It's friendly fire. Oh my god. The friendly fire from the storm. Not like this, but GG gets called. Yeah, he does too much damage anyway. He breaks on through, and SKillous, he breaks down the main army, pushes in, and SKillous will claim the series 2-1. GG. Whew, GG, well played. Congratulations, SKillous. He does do it again here. 2 days or 2 tournaments in a row. SKillous takes down Rogue. Very impressed here that Rogue did take a map. I'll be honest, I was leaning more towards SKillous 2-0ing, but Rogue did take a map, did make a series out of it. Here in game 2 and game 3, sorry, I should say, winding it back into game 1. Game 1 did end very abruptly, so it was just SKillous maybe being a little bit too cavalier early on. If you remember what happened in game 1, SKillous, he missed the early Lings, he missed the move out, and he just died. The game ended like 3 minutes in. Like, game 1 was very short, very abrupt. Getting into game 2 and game 3, SKillous, he got into his game. He was able to get into his actual game. He was able to get into the mid game and embrace his storm, embrace his army, embrace his own economy, and did pull Rogue apart. GG. GG, well played. Oh my god, to what's been happening? The rest of the bracket has been progressing the entire time, but we have updates here. We've got a lot of updates actually, so with that, congratulations. SKillous takes down Rogue 2-1. SKillous, he's up against MaxPax. As MaxPax, he takes down a Hero 2-1. Sorry, Geralt even. MaxPax, I'm sure he's very happy about that, by the way. MaxPax like, oh my, thank god. But Geralt takes down Hero 2-1. Very impressive play there by Geralt. MaxPax takes down Geralt 2-0, and then we have MaxPax and SKillous in the semifinals. Scrolling down, Classic takes down Mana, Classic takes down Hearthstone, and Classic is waiting in the grand finals for the winner of MaxPax and SKillous. So we were hoping to avoid, or we were hoping to delay the mass amount of PvPs, and we did a little bit. So we got to experience at least one ZvP, one non-mirror matchup, thankfully. But now we're locked in to our regular weekly setup here. The WardiTV Pro Toss Cup. Let's go. So it's going to be MaxPax versus SKillous into Classic. That is the go-to. That is the plan. That is the tournament ahead of us. Let's go.